Ever wondered if a Hollywood icon like Kevin Costner could pull off a chilling horror flick that flies under the radar? Prime Video subscribers, take note. There's an overlooked gem from 2009 called The New Daughter, just waiting to surprise you. But here's where it gets intriguing. This isn't your typical ghost story, and it might just challenge what you think you know about Costner's career choices. Yet, Costner is far from a one-trick pony. His diverse filmography, check out that comprehensive ranking of his best movies on Slashfilm, proves he's explored everything from dramas to thrillers, including a few forays into horror. Sure, those scarefests have often been eclipsed by his horseback adventures and home run hits, but The New Daughter stands out as a prime example of his hidden versatility. Adapted from John Connolly's novel, this underseen and arguably underrated thriller follows John James, portrayed by Costner, a divorced dad relocating his two kids to a quaint new home. The twist? Their dream abode sits atop an ancient burial ground, sparking eerie events. On the surface, it sounds like a classic haunted house tale, but don't be fooled. This film's horror is refreshingly original, blending monstrous elements that defy the usual jump scare tropes. For beginners dipping into horror, think of it as a mix of supernatural suspense and family drama, where the scares come from psychological tension rather than just ghostly apparitions. While The New Daughter probably won't make it into the pantheon of all-time great horror films. Those lists on Slashfilm are pretty definitive. It's a delightful American Gothic creature feature. Imagine eerie, atmospheric stories rooted in small-town secrets and folklore, much like classic tales of the American heartland. The cast shines, with Costner's committed performance anchoring the film, and young stars Ivana Baquero and Gattlin Griffith delivering nuanced portrayals that hint at their future successes. Griffith even got to team up with Costner again in the epic Horizon, an American saga, showing how these early roles build lasting careers. At the very least, give it a watch to see Costner stepping outside his comfort zone in a genre he openly admits isn't his cup of tea. And this is the part most people miss. Despite his aversion to horror, Costner drew a fascinating parallel between The New Daughter and his beloved Field of Dreams. In an interview with Bloody Disgusting back in 2008, he explained, "It's very much like Field of Dreams in the sense that we didn't know if we could pull off Field of Dreams. We didn't know if people were going to ultimately, at the end of the day, buy people coming out of the corn, have Burt Lancaster step over that line and not be able to go back, and be moved by that." While The New Daughter hasn't achieved the same cultural impact as that feel-good fantasy, it's a forgotten treasure that invites viewers to embrace the unknown, suspending disbelief in a nightmare scenario that grips you just as tightly. But here's where it gets controversial. Should actors like Costner avoid genres they dislike, or is pushing boundaries essential for growth? Some might argue that horror fans deserve more from big names, while others see this as a bold risk that enriches an actor's range. What do you think? Is The New Daughter a bold experiment worth reviving, or does Costner's comfort in westerns and baseball films hold more appeal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with his Field of Dreams comparison, or is there a counterpoint we haven't considered?